Today, another trauma for Harry and Meghan, but this time one that could be really critical and crucial. What are we talking about? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London today. Nice to see you as ever. Listen, thank you also for your very kind comments about Al Jolson. A lot of people did remember him. Of course we don't remember, we're all too young. Of course he was a huge star way back in the 20s. But you know, his sort of fame lives on. It's the songs, isn't it? Rockabye Your Baby with the Dixie melody, Mammy, all that sort of stuff. And a lot of people were, you know, thankful that I'd remembered him. For those sniping saying, oh, it's, you know, not the correct thing to do. Look, everybody's part of history, whether that be Sammy Davis Jr., Josephine Baker, Ella Fitzgerald. You know, it doesn't matter what side you come from, wherever you are. All great stars should be remembered, and as a lot of people have worked out, I love looking back at how they marketed people, because when you think about it, say take somebody like Ella Fitzgerald, a huge singing sensation, and did this purely on her talent, no social media, no influencers, you know, the sort of thing. That's what really appeals to me amongst the talent, is how did they do it, you know, because, you know, when you think about it, it was a lot more limited then, wasn't it? But they worked, I believe as well, don't know about you, a lot harder. Back as ever though to your breaking royal story of the day. Now this is a rather sad story, obviously, because Thomas Markle, as we know, is now in hospital. Fingers crossed for a speedy recovery. He is the father of the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. Things not looking too good for him. He was planning a trip over here to the United Kingdom, and sadly that's now been postponed. It's like echoes, isn't it, of 2018 with the royal wedding when you think about it. Now a lot of people are saying, what's the update? Well, what we can tell you at the time of this recording is no, apparently his daughter Meghan has not been in touch with him. However, people are now speculating by the fact that Harry and Meghan haven't been in touch. Will they now stay over in the United States and abandon plans to come over here for the Platinum Jubilee celebrations? You know, it's a very tricky thing, isn't it, for them to now live with, because whatever way comes around, and God forbid something should go wrong for Mr. Markle, then they would look in terribly bad light. And also when you think about it too, this would throw a lot of defocus on what should be a celebration, as I've often said here on the show, of a marvellous lady who's done so much for us. Now, as we've told you in the past, it's been a rather fractious relationship, to say the least. Mr. Markle has spoken openly about the last conversation he had with Prince Harry, when apparently he was rather rude and curt with him while he was in hospital previously. Now, moving forward, as I say, for Harry and Meghan, you know, this is possibly their worst PR blunder ever, because, you know, the bottom line is, there's a man, he's your father, whatever you think, you can put these things aside, and moving forward you should show some empathy. After all, that is what their brand is built upon, allegedly. Kindness, empathy, and of course inclusion for all. So I think a lot of people over here, and you know, as I say, it's a very tricky time for Harry and Meghan. You know, things are not going particularly well marketing, PR wise. Whatever happens next remains to be seen how they will be welcomed around the world. And if I was advising Harry and Meghan on that colossal salary that they are paying their PR people right now, I would suggest at least putting out a public statement offering some level of sympathy, and moving forward I'd be making that very quick 3-hour drive to see your father in this perilous state. As ever, we can only advise, and as ever, this will play out on the world's media. That's because, of course, they decided to cut off the world's media and wanted to make sure that their story was the only narrative. For Harry and Meghan, I do hope, and for Mr. Markle himself, that a happy conclusion is throughout. And for everybody watching out there today, do include him in your prayers if you will. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.